enter your access code. To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a PIN, just press pound or hash. You are the first caller and will be placed on hold until the next caller arrives.
This is Steven from the Right Step IT department.
Hey Steven, it's Josh.
Hey Josh.
We're just waiting on Adam. Rob, you're there too? Alright. Hey Rob, mute your line.
Huh?
Can you mute your line? It's loud. Okay, here we go.
Hey, this is Adam with netwrix.
Hey Adam, this is Josh McMahon. I have Rob Molina and Steve Knight over at our other facilities, and I just wanted them to join in on this call as well.
Okay. Hey everyone, it's John with netwrix as well.
Hey John, how's it going?
You guys doing alright today?
Doing good, yes sir.
Perfect.
Alright, so we were able to get 6.0 installed. We actually just installed it on a different server because we weren't for sure if our current settings would be changed in any way, so we just went with the fresh install on one of our domain controllers. So
Sure.
I'm logged in. If you want to share out my screen, I'm actually on. Oh, you're going to do a presentation?
No. I just was waiting to see whose screen I should share. Figured it was you, but
Alright, show my screen.
make sure. Alright. Perfect. Okay.
So basically, we got an overview, when we were at Spice World, but it was hard to hear everything that was going on. And as you know, we have the what's it called, inactive user module.
Inactive user tracking.
Okay.
Yep.
And just wanted to take a look at what else you guys can offer us.
Gotcha. So, I guess we should start with what's the most important to you of like all those colored boxes, the systems that we're able to monitor. Is there any one that jumps out at you like, oh yeah, that would be great to have auditing for?
Well, I would say Active Directory, event log, Exchange server, file servers. I believe someone told us in the file server they can tell you who accesses what files. Is that what that does?
It can, yes.
Okay, so that'd be something, group policy. We already have the inactive tracking. We do have something for the password alerting, but it doesn't work very well, so that might be a possibility. We have a SQL server, but that wouldn't. User activity, I would need to know more information on that, and VMware. And, well, pretty much all this stuff that's on here.
Okay. I guess we'll go one at a time. And you didn't have a chance to go through the install guide or anything and do some of these configuration steps?
Rob, I don't know. Do you know? Can you chime in on that?
I read over some of them. I didn't do the configuration for each one, but I read over a few. Especially the certain ones, we don't have SharePoint. Our SQL server is not managed by us. And inactive user tracking, we already have that, like you said. But nothing has been configured.
Okay. Well, let's just see what we can get done here. So, but SQL was installed somewhere, either on this box or somewhere else, or at least.
SQL 2008 R2 Express is on this machine here.
Okay. So if you click Reports under Settings on the left-hand side of the console, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but I haven't put in there yet. So let's go ahead and configure that. You hit that Configure button.
Yeah. I hit it. Okay.
There we go. Okay, you've said you've already got it installed.
Correct.
Yeah.
So use an existing. Next. And you say it's on this domain controller?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Well, this might work. Try to hit. We'll just see if it's if the verify links work. Otherwise, we'll just have to go to the reporting services configuration manager. Okay. So yeah, that's not working. Try the other link, if you don't mind.
It's called report server. It's not called _SQL Express.
that makes it easy. It can take a second the first time you click it, or after a reboot. I'm not sure why. I've just grown to accept that.
All right.
You get a long delay. While this is going, if you want to click the other link, or maybe you know the if a change needs to be made, if you go while that's loading.
And we take this out.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same, Rob?
Yeah, it's called underscore SQL Express.
You're
well, it shouldn't be the exact same link. It's not going to work if they're the exact same link. It might just be reports, not report server.
Got the underscore SQL Express under that one, yeah.
Just take right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. See, that looks right. And then we'll make sure the other one comes up. Yep, that looks right. Okay, good. So,
Next.
alright, should be able to do next. Yep. Huh. I thought we verified that. Server does not exist or present accessible. Okay. Go ahead and hit OK. TRS, STCF4. I mean, if it's the default instance, it's possible we just need the computer name up there on that top line. Taking a look at how mine is. Yeah, like I just have the, like you can take away the /SQL Express on the top for the SQL Server instance. Assuming it's the default instance. Try that. There we go. Okay. Finish. Okay, so that's good. And then if you'll click, which one is it? The data collection? Three down from where we are now on the left side. That's fine. Specify, ready to specify the default data processing account. Now what account are we logged in with right now? Are we logged in as administrator?
Yes.
Okay, and you're okay with using administrator for, the I guess, service account, if you will, that's going to reach out?
Yeah, well...
Is there using that account?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is it recommended that we use the admin account, or do y'all recommend creating a network account?
It depends. It makes it easier. But for tracking things down, or there's a lot of best practices just in general that suggest to use a service account.
Yeah.
Something you run into if you're logged in to this Windows session with a different user than you use for the service account, sometimes SQL permissions get hairy, and you just have to, it doesn't take but a couple minutes to kind of correct and create permissions in SQL. So, it's really up to you. I certainly can't argue against, creating a specific service account rather than using the admin, but it'll be easier. Just use the admin account. We could change it later.
Yeah, we'll change it later. That way we're not wasting y'all's time on creating accounts. But we'll do that definitely.
Gotcha. Okay. So that should take... Okay. And then don't worry about that for now. Go back up to the very top link where it says Networks Auditor on the left side. Yep. Click Active Directory. The green or teal box. Yep. a domain type managed object, it only gives you the one option because AD is a domain wide. So
Alright. Go ahead,
you'll have
next.
options if you were to just create. Yeah, you can hit next. Okay. It's going to want the email settings.
Whoop.
Those should get saved as well. Okay. Do you have a relay set up
Once in a-
that it can just send mail, or do we need authentication?
Let me see here. Rob, I don't think we have to use SSL, do we? On our copiers?
No,
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
you shouldn't need authentication.
Yeah, as long as it's coming from an account within RightStep. Oh.
I think the SSL usually works in tandem with, you've got to put in a username and password.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I've got mine configured, my Exchange server. And I don't know if you guys are using Exchange, but
Yeah.
that I have a hub transport connector. Certain, whether it's copiers or servers can send mail anonymously. But if you don't have it set up, or if you haven't added this server to that, then
Yeah.
rejection is not.
I think it is. Actually, I have to add this. We'll look into this later. But do we have to have this set up right now to look at all the other settings?
We don't. You're not going to be getting the emailed reports. I mean, it'd be good to have this set up. But I mean, no, it's not critical.
I think I have to go into Exchange and allow this certain IP to be one of the guys that sends out.
Gotcha. And if you put in your username, should it not be like domain/user? I want to say that's how I have mine. Let me double check. Just looking at my lab here. Email notification. Oh, never mind. I don't have authentication in there.
Yeah. We'll come back. I'm making notes on what to go back and look at email settings.
Okay. So you can just hit
Okay.
you just hit next for now. Alright, is that your domain?
Yes.
Okay, we can give it a full account. Yep. Yep. That should all be in there. It's going to ask if you want to create the database. Yep. Next.
Lightweight agents.
Use. This, you can, if it doesn't bother you having these little collectors on your DCs, and especially if you have remote locations, I definitely recommend this. They're not agents in the classic sense of something sitting there intercepting everything and doing the monitoring. They
Right.
just spin up when there's a data collection and they compress the logs before sending them on to the auditor server. So, I mean, the question there is, do you have domain controllers in other locations?
No.
One.
No.
I'm sorry, that was a no?
That's a no.
Yeah. Just have a data center. They're all in one location.
Gotcha. So it's not really critical that they're there. If you don't use it, the auditor server has to reach out to the other DCs and pull the logs and do all the processing itself. You don't have like a huge environment. I don't think it would hurt you. So I mean, if you'd prefer not to have any little agents installed on the DCs, uncheck the box. If you're not worried about it, leave it checked. And it might speed things up a little, but with just one location, it's not a big deal. Everything should be connected over gigabit Ethernet.
Okay.
So that's fine. Now here, you may or may not want to leave this on auto. We're going to run through the manual configuration automatically, but this is some of the stuff that's in that install guide. There's a few kind of group policy changes. Assuming you guys are using the default domain controllers policy, it's pretty easy. Just make a few changes there. It enables some object level audit flags on the domain itself. one is the event log size. Are all of your DCs at least server 2008?
Yes.
Okay, so I think it's going to want to set it to a gig by default. And this will, if you keep this checked, it's going to automatically check to make sure everything is set right before, and then attempt to set it the way it wants it. If it's not, if you'd rather it not do these checks, then just hit the manual and let's go through it one time. And if something were to change, you might have a warning or an error, but you'd know it. You know, you're going to get the email notifications, and you could address that once we have the email set up, right?
All right.
Yeah, and we'll go through these one by one.
Okay.
If you want to hit manual.
I mean, I looked over. I mean, I want to see what this thing can do. So if it needs to be done, then let's go ahead and change it.
Okay. Oh no, we're certainly going to be changing this. It's just this is just if you wanted to check every time it does a collection. We're going to go through it ourselves the first time.
Okay.
It's just up to you.
All right. So which one? Manually.
That's fine. Here's where you want the email report sent to.
Okay.
Once you have email set up. And you can configure this all later. This is, well, again, this isn't going to do us a lot of good either, because these are email alerts that get sent for certain things. See if you want to uncheck the one that's checked for now. Very easy to re-enable these. Next. Finish. Yep.
Is that the only way it alerts? Is it via email, or is there a page that you can view?
Oh, you can see all the reportings in here. It's just, if you want to, like an email alert warning, you know, a domain controller was demoted, you know, something like that, it's going to be sent via email.
Yeah, okay.
So don't click that run yet. If you click, expand out where it says writestep.com on the left side under Manage Objects, now that we have Manage Objects, click where it says, and actually, while we're at it, click the Add Remove Systems button on the right side. We might as well get a few other things going here.
Add Remove Systems
too.
button.
It's all the way on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have, you said you did have Exchange in-house?
We do, yes.
Okay. If we'd like to test it out, might as well check all the boxes here. Group policy is easy to get going. I know you already have IUT running on the other, but it's not going to do anything. It's not going to hurt you. And eventually you probably want it going here anyway, if you were to move over to the whole auditor solution. Okay. So, yeah, hit next, and it's going to ask you to configure a couple more things. Yep, enable reports. Next. We do want state and time reports. Those are neat. This was, had you clicked manually on the audit checks? I think you had done manually before. It's really just a matter of preference. Okay. I'm on the fence myself, so whichever one you want to do. You weren't going to specify those yet. Same thing there. This we're not going to configure it yet because it might conflict with something you're doing on the other, so you'll just get reporting. This, if you don't want users to get emails yet, you want to uncheck that notify users box. Otherwise, it's going to start sending an email to people if their password expires in X days or less. So that's fine. Hit next. Finish. And let's get all that going. Alright, and now on the left side where it says Active Directory, you can click that. Yep, and then on the lower right, Configure Audit, you can hit that button. And this is what I was talking about going through this. I guess we're using the evaluation for now, so you can hit OK. And it's right step. Next. You do use the default domain controllers policy?
Yes.
Cool. Oops. Right, you should be able to hit OK, unless you wanted to apply this to a different GPO for some reason. And go ahead and hit detect. It won't make any changes until we hit the adjust button. It shouldn't be a permissions issue. I'm sure the administrator accounts a domain admin.
Yeah.
We don't require a domain admin account, but it sure makes things easy. You can configure an account with just the specific roles you need. Okay. Yep, so there's a lot of things that...
Okay.
It's just each domain controller needs to be there. Scroll down to the conflicts, if you don't mind. Oh, okay, that's pretty much the same. That's fine. Hit close. And if you're ready to... And I can go over exactly what the settings are that are going to be changed, but if you're ready, go ahead and hit adjust, and it'll make the...
Now what,
GPO changes.
Yeah, now what changes were those? Is there a... It's what I was reading earlier.
This is... quite possibly, and here I'll put this guide back in the chat window of GoToMeeting, and you're looking at section 4.1, and specifically, where do we go to manually? Configure audit manually. This first thing is to configure domain audit policy. So 4.1.2.1, that's fun to say. And here...
I'll just listen because there's not a PDF and I don't feel like doing all that. So.
Oh, gotcha. It's just under, like if you were to go into the GPMC console, it's under audit policy, audit directory service access, and audit account management, and the audit of logon events is being set to success instead of not defined.
Okay.
So it's like,
and what is that 4.4121? Is that correct?
4.1.2.1.
Okay,
yep.
got it.
4.1.2.1.
All right, I'm looking at it off the server.
Yep.
All right.
And then if you continue to scroll down after that, it'll go through what the other changes
Okay.
are.
This file size. Management.
And I know you're reading through that, so tell me to shut up for a second if you need me to.
No,
But
go ahead.
Just so you know, these changes are typically very low impact. Certain things, like file server auditing, you do want to make sure you're targeting that specifically and not jittering a bunch of audit data you don't need.
Right.
But with Active Directory, I think you've only got 500-something users. There's typically very little stir, very little changes being made in Active Directory. Like, people leave, people come. It's not like you're using scripts to change all of your users 20 times a day and, generating 10,000 changes a day. And even then, it wouldn't be crippling in most cases, but it would be a lot more than normal.
Right.
But it's just, in a normal environment, there's just not that much stir in AD. So enabling these audit settings is going to create some additional security event log events and such. But in an environment your size, I've never seen it have a big, hey, there's a first for everything, but I've never seen it had a noticeable or detrimental impact.
Well, we have it documented what was changed, so we'll just change it back if needed, right?
There's no auto way to change it back, but it would be very easy to just look at this guide and revert those changes.
All right. So I just hit adjust?
It would take me 3 minutes. Yep. Adjust, and it'll make an effort. Was I reading that right? You have 6 domain controllers?
I don't know offhand. I don't think we have that many, but there's a few that need to be removed.
Oh. Okay, but they're there for now. Hit the detect button one more time. I just want to make sure it comes up happy. I guess some of them are slower to respond than others. Or I'm just used to my lab where I have only one domain controller and it
Right.
half a second to check everything. There we go. Something is still... Now that secured CTRS...
Yeah, that's just a read-only domain controller.
Oh. Maybe that's why it listed as a conflict. So for that one, how do you... I mean, I guess we could... so it can't receive any changes if it's read-only. Correct?
Right.
It's just it's
Yep.
just syncing with the others.
Correct.
So we might even want to exclude that from monitor. We can worry about that later, Ethan. I'm gonna ask a colleague what's the best thing to do. I'm initially thinking we'll just exclude it from auditing, because by default we reach out to each domain controller looking for changes. Because although obviously, say you add a user account, within a few minutes it all gets synced up with the other DCs, the event of who did it, when they did it, some of the details, it's only on the domain controller that received that change.
Right.
So that's why we're reaching out everywhere. But if this read-only DC, it's never going to receive any changes, I don't think. It wouldn't hurt us to exclude it.
Okay.
From auditing.
But
anyway, you can hit next for now. These are the object level settings. You can hit detect. They're probably going to need to be changed as well. This is 4123 for the specifics of what it's going to want to do.
4, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. So after I hit detect. Okay.
Yep. Oh, they are configured correctly. Interesting. All right. Go ahead and next. Detect on the event log size.
While that's opening. Yeah, that
I
is.
have two that are read only.
Yeah, this is from our parent company. These two. This one syncs up with them. This one we use for LDAP and for our email system. But these three are active. This one needs to be decommissioned. So I'll make note of that.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. If you look at the conflicts there, must be adjusted. Yeah. Okay. And then it has a conflict. This is also the secure. Yeah, for some reason it's not able to pull the audit policies on that. Okay. Go ahead, close. Like I said, we might be excluding that from auditing.
Alright.
So I'm not too worried about it at the moment. Okay. And next. This is enabling, is this the next section in the guide? This is for exchange auditing specifically. Same argument for the AD side. Yeah, that's fine. And then next.
Finish.
Okay. Finish. Alright, so let's try it. Give it a second, hit cancel before you... Sometimes when you run these wizards, it takes a few seconds. Okay, we're back on. There's a little red circle that appears in the very extreme upper left where it says Networks Auditor. It's gone now, so you should be able to click around. So click where it says rightstep.com on the left side.
Yeah, right here.
right above where you are. Yep. And go ahead and hit run, because we're already on Active Directory. Now, this is going to come back almost certainly with a warning about that secure.
Oh, it's actually running now.
Yes. So, oh, you didn't hit the run button?
No, I didn't hit anything. It just is already running.
Okay, so it might just be doing a little, trying to do a quick collection anyway. So we'll give it a second. I guess while this is going, well, let's go ahead and click where it says inactive user tracking, just 3 below where you are on the right side. Yep, and hit run. We didn't configure it to do anything, so it's just going to collect data and have a report, and hit run on that one as well.
Alright.
We also told that not to send anything, so we shouldn't wreak any havoc.
Now, how do you guys, is it per module, or is this just, we buy based on this bundled package?
It is per, module, if you will. There are certain bundles. The way, in a nutshell, we've got, I believe, 7 auditing solutions. IUT is complaining about the email not set up. And there's 6 different systems we audit that have different tools that are part of them. And then just to separate it, oh, and I've got some good echo here.
Yeah, I hear that.
That's all right. But not sure whose speakerphone that is. But Windows Server auditing, which comes with, like, if you go to, what's the easiest way to do this? Click on the left side at the top, netwrix auditor, where it says there, the very yeah. Okay, so Windows Server auditing is like local server auditing. You also get the user activity video recorder and the event log manager. That's all part of netwrix auditor for Windows Server, and that's included with any of the other 6 auditing solutions. So just keep that in mind. If you buy anything, you can just buy it separately if that's all you needed and it's cheaper, but it is included with anything else we get. So the other solutions are, if you get Active Directory, that includes group policy, inactive user tracking, and password expiration alerting. So that's Active Directory. The 5 other separate solutions, which you pay an individual license cost for each, are Exchange, File Server, SharePoint, SQL, and VMware. If you are looking at 4 or 5 of those, it often becomes just more price, or
So
you get a little bit less.
Adam, can I butt in real quick on that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Josh,
Yeah.
so what basically you've informed us today that you're looking at a few different products, right? The Active Directory, we've got group policy, file server. You're not really interested in the SQL Server aspect of things and SharePoint, right?
Correct.
And VMware is something that you've also mentioned.
We do have that environment.
With that package, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So with those tools that you actually have, that I've listed off, that you've listed off, you're actually going to fall underneath the Network Auditor All, not the All-in-One. All-in-One has a little bit more product to it, but I don't think you need all that.
Okay.
The stuff that you've named off, that actually is a suit. I just wasn't going to talk about that until the end, but I'm glad that you brought this up. So I already have a quote ready out for you guys. If you're buying it in bulk, in that sense, it is a little bit cheaper for you instead of doing it a la carte.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I was just wondering.
Sorry to interrupt, Adam.
No, thank you. That saved a little time. It's just like if you're only looking at 2 things, often it's better to just go a la carte, for instance.
Right.
But if it's several, yeah, it makes sense. The only other thing, which I don't know if we've talked about that at all, the all-in-one comes with Password Manager. It's a tool that allows users to, from like a self-service portal, reset their own passwords, unlock their accounts, change their passwords. So like if you have a lot of issues with password issues, a lot of tickets created with I forgot my password, that can be very helpful. If it's not really a pain point, then don't worry about it.
Well, now what comes with that?
It's a separate product, and it doesn't snap into this console.
Oh, okay.
It's called netwrix Password Manager, and that's included. John had mentioned, you're looking at, or I guess what he's put on that quote is the auditor all solution, which is everything that comes in what we're looking at right now.
Okay.
But the all-in-one includes Password Manager, which is that self-service portal. Also, you get a log-on extension. People right from their workstation can click a button. Can't log on, click here for assistance.
Yeah.
Answer a couple challenge questions, do a reset. It's a neat tool. It has nothing to do with auditing. It's just if a bunch of password issues are a pain point for either you or your users, it's nice. So,
Okay.
something to consider.
Yeah, that would be nice because we do run into that a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to. Obviously, one thing at a time. We'll get back into the task at hand at the moment. But if you wanted to see a demo of it or wanted to install it, try it out, either way, happy to help with that.
All right.
So, keeping it back in mind for now. If you don't mind, expand where it says Active Directory on the left side, just because I want to look at these in more detail. Expand Sessions, and click that one. It should only be the one. Okay, so what do we have here? Secured. Unable to locate the default domain controller's policy. That's odd. An error occurred when trying to perform. Yeah, the first one was expected. We're getting all kinds of auto warnings. I wonder if that's because of the top error. So, just for, let's see if we can get two of those to go away, going back to manual. So click where it says Active Directory. Yep. And scroll down, if you don't mind, on the right side. And click where it says Advanced Options, Configure. And there, uncheck Adjust Audit Settings automatically. Hit OK, and then click where it says Group Policy on the left. We'll have to do the same thing there. Yep. Scroll, Advanced Options, Configure, Adjust automatically, and then do the same thing for Exchange. Yep. Okay. Now, can we make a test change? I see you've got ADOC open on this. You left that open on this server. So yeah, if you can just go in there and create a test user, a computer account, modify an attribute on a user, give yourself a phone number if you want to. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. But you can get as fancy as you want.
I'll just do somewhere I know. Steven, do you have anybody to add? He's like, we're not gonna listen.
Sorry, any user to add? No, I already did that.
Oop.
Close.
What is it? How do y'all spell it?
WR,
Oh,
right?
WR. Oh, okay.
It would not have affected the test.
Right.
But thank you for correcting it. Does wonders for my heart.
Oh, what is this? Okay, so that one in the Houston Temps under Houston
Great.
Central. All right.
And now if you go back into the console, where it says writestep.com under Manage Objects, click where it says Active Directory, and hit Run. And, give it a minute to finish. at the end of it, should pick up that change despite the warnings about that one DC. They just want to make sure it reports it properly, make sure it catches that the administrator user did it and all that good stuff. And if it goes in right, other than dealing with that one DC that for some reason we're not able to pull or adjust any settings on, which it being part of the parent company, it wouldn't shock me if they have some kind of permissions on that that are preventing your account for some reason, or this administrator account from doing anything to it. But we can exclude. Let me actually, while this is running, I'm going to see if I can track that down real quick, how to exclude that. Netwrix, Active Directory. Omit. Let's look up the KB real quick while that's going. Just think of like a big timpani drum roll going.
Yeah.
It'll make staring at the screen watching paint dry more exciting.
Oh, I'm just looking up
the
our...
timpani.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the email settings so I can get that working.
Gotcha. Okay.
Huh. Now I can click off this page, right?
Oh yeah. Alright, this is how to exclude non-operable domain controllers from monitoring. Oh, that's in.
Where was the email settings?
Under email notifications, 2 under settings. Yeah.
One second, okay, hold on.
No problem.
Okay, cool, thanks. Alright, okay, sender address. Yeah, this is, actually, TRS. I don't know. That's the same thing we got.
It's still complaining?
Yeah. Okay, still running.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at another screen. Hey, there it's done. Well, let's see if we got a success on the reporting side of things anyway. And on the left side, expand reports. Expand AD change tracking. Expand all changes. And the top one, all Active Directory changes, pick that. And in theory, if you hit view report, we should see our little test change. About to find out. If we don't, we'll try to figure out why.
Alright.
that's it. If you scroll down just a little to reveal, yeah, that's the only change in there. Administrator added the test netwrix user. This DC received the change. It happened 6 minutes ago. Yep.
Cool.
So that appears to be working right. I don't know if you've ever used this before, but just to point out a couple of things to you. If you click the filters button in the upper right,
Okay.
yep, you get a lot of options for diving into it. Like if you only wanted to see changes made by the admin,
Yeah.
if you put under who changed, like %admin%, it would catch any users with admin in them, for instance. Or if you only want to see changes to a particular OU, just if it's a big report
Right.
and you want to dive into. Obviously, this, we don't need any filters for one change, but eventually there'll be more.
Right.
So, just so you know, there you've got sort options there. You also have export options. You can set up subscriptions if you want automatic delivery of reports to various recipients. Again, once we have the email settings going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all in there. And then you also have, if you expand out AD state and time assessments, which if you collapse the AD change tracking folder, it'll be the next one down. So if you collapse the folder above that, where it says AD change tracking.
AD change. Oh, yeah, okay, I see it.
Yeah, just collapse
Oh, right
that.
here,
It's
this
right
one.
under. Yeah. But if you expand that out, AD state and time assessments, say for instance you wanted a report, if you expand groups, like if you, I don't know if you guys deal with compliance or
We do.
external auditors,
Yeah, both.
but if you want to deal with, if you need to report like all of your groups with their members, you can click that. For instance, hit view report. And make sure this is working right. Which, you can certainly generate this data manually or like with some PowerShell magic, but it's nice to just, a couple of clicks.
Yeah, everything's
You've
centralized.
got this information. Yeah, it's a convenience thing, this kind of data. So it's just a few seconds. Look for this exclusion again. Manage object. Yep. So, and this is got 66 pages. It's a little shorter in my demo environment, but yeah, you've got a report here. If you only want to see your administrative groups, you can run that report, but this is all of your groups. Under the user accounts folder, you can get the reverse of this, a report of all of your user accounts, and all of the groups that they're a part of. It's kind of the reverse way of looking at that. You can look at that's the user accounts with group membership report. There's the user accounts with last logon time. Under group policy, it's almost more useful in a way. We've got some neat reports. If you were to expand out, instead of where it says Active Directory, if you expand it under reports, GP state and time assessment, we're not going to have any changes yet, I don't think. We could make a test change, but if you expand GPOs, or group policy objects,
Yep.
folder there, you can get a report of all of your GPOs with their settings.
Yeah, we got this
One that a
software.
lot of people like, if you expand out the
It's our whole
policy
network.
settings
It's pretty cool.
folder,
Really?
September. Which one?
near the bottom of the left side, policy settings, the folder.
I'll buy later.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, and hit the duplicate settings in GPOs.
Okay.
You hit that and view report. This, more than just running a resultant set of policies, it will tell you every single one of your GPOs is touching the same area of group policy. So if you are having issues with settings not processing as you think they should, this can really help you kind of sort through any possible conflicts, things that might be fighting each other, a lot more easily than with what you can do natively. So just so you know, that's all in here. Exchange is not going to have anything until we make some test changes, which if you add this DC to like a relay connector, then you'll have a test change.
Yeah, right.
But, and it's similar change reporting. I'm not sure if you know, we only have the one change, but we color code everything. Green for items added, yellow for modified, red for removed, just to help draw the eye. If attributes change on a user, we'll tell you what they were and what they are now. Group membership changed, we'll tell you what it was, what it is now. We can even, like if you look under, and you can do it in here, or I mean we actually have a change in Active Directory if you want to go back to Active Directory. Under reports, AD change tracking, all changes. And it's all AD changes by groups with originating workstation. I guess it's the fifth one down. Yeah. That one does a couple of neat things. You hit view report. And there, it'll even tell you, like, is this, where it says that workstation, are you on that workstation you're remoted into this domain controller?
Let's see.
Where it says DFW-CHC.
Oh, right here?
That was me.
Okay.
That's my computer that I was remoted into earlier.
Huh.
Wonder why it says the change is coming from there then.
Yeah.
If you're not right now. Because I'm not sure which screen you're showing or how you're connected to this DC.
I'm just RDP.
Promoted in via RDP.
Okay, but you're not on this workstation right now?
Rob is, right?
The admin account? No, the admin account is logged on to DC. I'm on it.
I'm not saying the admin account. I'm saying the computer that GoTo Meeting's running on.
Is DC04.
Oh, you are running it directly on.
Yeah.
The DC. Oh, that's which DC received the change. But the idea of the workstation field is, if somebody has like the remote server administration tools installed, or
Oh yeah, I do.
Or
I have
yeah,
like that.
then it'll show up there as showing. If you're trying to track down why something happened or something weird happened, that should show you. Or if somebody remoted into the DC from another workstation, that's what's supposed to show there. So I'm a little confused at the moment. That's the idea of that field anyway. And maybe I'm not asking the question right. But the other thing that it does, if you were to expand out the filters again on this report, if you have, say like, if you expand out where it says groups, hit that drop down, if you only want to see changes made by people that are members of a certain group, like say you have like a managed service provider helping you out with certain things and you want to keep track of what they were doing, you can just look at those changes, for instance, and exclude others. So, it's a report I like to use. Just point out what you can do with this. What else? With the same time adjustments, you can see where the real-time alerts are once you have email set up. Just under where it says Active Directory, that's kind of the other, or one of the other top-level features. There, that's where you go, and you can customize those. Like if you double-click the top one, for instance, changes to admin group membership. You can add or remove groups that you want reporting on changes to, and this is for stuff you want to know about within a few minutes rather than the next day.
Right.
How this is configured by default, at 3 a.m. every day, it's doing a full collection where it's getting like all that snapshot data for the state and time reports. And you can, it's easy to import in historical data. So like, say, once you've had this for a while, if you want to look back, well, who are the members of, this group a couple months ago? You can look at that as well. You're not just looking at the most recent collection. If you need to look at historical reporting. So it's doing the full collection then, but every 10 minutes, again, and this is all configurable, but this is default settings, it's doing a quick collection, looking for things to alert on, like in addition to a domain admins group, for instance.
All right.
And we're scheduled task driven. You can change all that if there was a need for some reason, but that's the idea here, so we can get the alerting, because we're an agentless architecture. Like, we can use those little collectors, but we're reaching out, we're collecting audit data from several different independent sources, like event logs, we're taking configuration snapshot, obviously, that we're showing that reporting on, looking at the change history records. I believe it's a total of 4 data points for Active Directory, and we're combining that all together and giving you the easy-to-read reporting, so you can easily kind of review changes going on in AD, group policy, exchange, etc.
Yeah.
So that kind of a quick top-level overview. Which on Exchange, which version of Exchange Server are you guys running?
07.
Okay. With 07 or 2010, we support non-owner mailbox access auditing. I affectionately call this the feature that gets the most people fired. But I mean, positively speaking, it keeps people accountable, because you, Josh, and Rob, and Stephen, you may all have privileges to root through anybody's mailbox that you want. I don't know how you guys are set up, but it doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah.
And we'll get emails or calls to the support desk, people evaluating the software. They'll go, is this, like, say with you, and not to pick on you, Rob, but like, is this Rob rooting through the CEO's mailbox? And we'll be like, yeah, it kind of looks like that. And but it does exactly what the title says. It audits. You can get a detailed report of everything that somebody does in a mailbox that is not their own. You can exclude mailboxes. You don't want auditing like group mailboxes that are supposed to have a lot of people in them, for instance. But like, if you've ever seen Web Guy versus Sales Dude, deleting the boss's email from his sent items. So he's like, I sent you an email about that. Why'd you do that? And I guess I didn't send it to you. You can catch that.
That's pretty cool. And what feature is that?
That's under, if you click where it says Exchange Server, and you might have to cancel out of this. About 5 from the top on the screen you have right now. Okay. Keep going. 5 lines down from the top of the screen. Well, now it's a few more. Right under where it says Group Policy, just says Exchange Server.
Yeah.
Click there, and see that Track Access button near the bottom right, non-owner mailbox access
right here.
auditing. And this is user evaluation. You have to target your mailbox server. So if you've got Exchange split up, don't worry about the other servers. We just need the mailbox server where you have your information stored or stores. And if you do, this does require an agent to get a detailed report, see exactly what emails were opened or sent or deleted or things like that. Little agent gets pushed to the Exchange server and just monitors that kind of activity. That's a lot more lightweight than enabling the native auditing, which can get a little crazy when you enable all activity auditing on all your mailboxes.
Yeah.
That just gets a little nuts. So this is a much less, very little performance impact to audit that. And you don't have to use that at all, but it's there if you want it. Otherwise, the Exchange server auditing, it's just going to track changes. That you did, basically anything you can do from the Exchange management console, or if somebody changes delegation on one of their mailboxes, that kind of stuff's going to be reported. The echo has returned.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill me if it stays, but it might be bothering somebody else.
Yeah, I don't hear it. Steven, is that you?
Oh, it disappeared.
I hear the echo though.
Yeah. It disappeared as soon as I said something, so maybe it's John.
Rob.
That would not be me, negative Ghost Rider.
But
My phone's also muted, so it's not me.
I don't know. It comes and it goes. I don't think it's me, but I'm just on a headset. But whatever. It's gone now. So what else? So yeah, these are all the domain-wide audit tools that we have. The rest of them are, specific file shares or computers. I guess we've hit an hour. I don't have anything right after this, so I've got some more time. If you'd like to go through and maybe get some other systems set up. So up to you, Josh.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you want to do?
That's fine if you guys have time.
Yeah, I do. Here, actually, before we do that, how do I omit a domain controller?
Josh, while he's doing that, how do you like everything that you're seeing?
I think there's some pretty useful tools. I think even maybe certain tools our parent company might be able to use on their level as well. So, I mean, I like what I'm seeing. Rob, Steven, y'all.
Is this something that's budgeted for this year for you guys? I mean, do you feel like this is something that you guys would move forward with?
I think so. I mean, the inactive user bundle was really priced well, I'll just say that. And so if that, it's the same pricing scheme as with this auditor or near it or something like that, we'll definitely look into this because it is easy to have everything centralized just a few clicks away from finding out information that you need.
Right, and when you say that it was priced well, and that's just the smallest product that we have that I believe that you guys actually purchased, and this would be a lot, I mean, a bigger scale of a product, so it would be a little bit more expensive. I just want to make sure that you realize that and are aware of that. What are you looking to spend on a project like this?
Well, that's where I would have to do the sales, and I'm recording this session actually. So
yeah, that's fine.
So I can just show them, hey, this is what it does, and see if it can help them as well. Maybe we can deploy it not just at Right Step, but maybe at other locations as well. Because in the end, we're all going on one network, and that's going to be a lot of users, and they're going to have something that helps audit and track these kind of changes. It's going to be it's going to be crazy. So that's why I think right now we're on our own domain, our own network. We could use this, and then they could possibly use it whenever we join them as well. Rob, Steven,
should we just cross that?
Go ahead.
Should we just cross that bridge later on when we get there after you showing them all this? Or
yeah, I want to show them. I want to show them exactly what this does. Like I'm gonna fix.
Okay.
I'm comparing. I'm actually looking at the email settings on the one that we currently have installed and comparing that. I want to make sure everything's working so I can show them this is how it works. This is what it can do. As far as I even like the other software that you guys had for the password expiring.
The password management.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was neat. And also, we can look at from a compliance eye and say, do we need to know who's accessing what files and what they did? And it just allows us a lot of different options, which we don't have right now,
Understand.
So.
All right. Well. Well,
Yeah.
what we'll do is I'll just let you guys finish up with Adam, and then you and I will just discuss on a later date when we just follow back up with you.
Sounds good.
All right. Sorry about that, Adam.
No problem. I was looking through some guides and posed a question to my colleagues about excluding that domain controller. Hopefully they'll get back to me in a little bit, but we'll move on for now. I think file server had been mentioned. For Josh, for file server auditing, you have to enable the object access on the shares you want to audit as well. And whereas with Active Directory, that's pretty low key. If you have we may even want to just start with like a test file share. Maybe that's not so big.
Yeah.
Just because it's going to have to touch every file in whatever share we change these settings on, and depending on your file server, it may have zero impact or it could have a lot of impact just on the I/O. And I don't want your users to get pissed.
Yeah. Let's stay away from that one then. Rob, you online? That wouldn't be anything.
Yeah, I'm here. Just sent you a message. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh.
Nice. So
Yeah.
like the food and beverage share, how many files are in there? I mean, if it's only like a few hundred, even 1,000, it's not going to have a big
Did
impact.
you have a question for me, Josh?
Yeah, I was just asking. We're looking at a file share to look at, and this is one that we definitely want to stay away from. This is our big one.
Yeah, that's a giant.
So.
Yeah, you can do ours, our IT shares.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Or the iDrive, that would be smaller too.
iDrive, what's used in that? Yeah. What is? Let's see.
Okay.
Let me just make sure. Let's use our IT. That way we can. It's a hidden share.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, that'll work. About how many files in there, just so we have an idea of how long this is
Oh, I would
should be
say.
taking.
Oh, I don't know. These just some software in here, really. You know.
Okay. Do you mind just like selecting all and file, right-click properties, just so I can get an idea? Okay, that's not that bad. They're big in install files, but that's not gonna. The size of the files doesn't matter. It's the quantity. Okay. So the things we got to do on here. Now this TRS-file01, is that your only file server?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
TRS file is also.
Well, we're not using that, Ron.
Alright.
it's fine. I'm just thinking, like, you can configure a GPO if you have like a bunch of file servers, but if you don't, I normally say just change it on local policy. So can we get remoted into TRS-file01?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, what am I doing?
Okay. And first thing, if you could bring up local security policy. Yep, and it's under, where is this? Local policies, I believe. Audit policy. And, okay, well, it's already on there. Audit of object access. So you've got a lot of things already. Have you done file server auditing before?
Not to my knowledge. And I'm pretty sure the company before us didn't do it either.
I wonder if this is all... You mind running rsop.msc for me?
What is it?
So I can take a look. RSOP for a resultant set of policies. .msc. don't like hearing the echo. I feel like I sound really annoying, but I sound great to me. I hope it's just me.
That's weird.
But I apologize. It's not. But under Windows settings, under computer configuration, security settings, local policies, audit policy. Should I hit that? Expand that out. Expand out the source GPO, if you don't mind. Oh wow, you've got that set on all of your computers. Okay. I don't know why you've done that.
Yeah.
You're probably creating a lot of unnecessary I/O
Logs.
and audit events, but you know, I'm not going to judge.
So something for us to look at.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. But it's set correctly anyway, so I'm just worried we're going to get log overwrites in a hurry. Is one possible issue we could have here. One thing, if you go back into, I guess you can X this out. We can always rerun this if we need to. Where's the setting? Configure advanced audit policy. Under security options, audit force audit policy subcategories. So that's not defined. Okay, so we're not using the advanced audit policies. I'm doing the chest thing and looking forward a couple steps. We may run into issues where you're rewriting your security event log, you know, in an hour, and we're going to want to reduce the amount of audit data you're generating.
Yeah.
And we could do that with the advanced settings. I guess let's try this out and see for now. So with that in mind, can we take a look at your event viewer, or you can go to computer or server management. I just want to set the event log size, unless it's possible group policy is going to kill us on that. But let's try the security event log. Right click properties. Yep. Okay, currently it's set to 30. And actually we should probably double check this and make sure that it's not being overridden. So do you mind running result and set of policies one more time? You can keep those open, or we'll just go back into it. And where is that policy? Under Windows settings, security settings, event log. Maximum, aha, it is. You have a domain servers policy? Ouch, that's setting that. So I wonder if that's going to run into, well, no, I guess it's not affecting the domain controllers for AD auditing. That'd be my guess anyway. But, so it's that. We're going to want it on this one to be like 4 gigs, the max size you can do before you're worried about,
Okay.
corruption and such. So on this, I'm trying to think what the best thing to do. Obviously there's different ways to skin this cat. I don't want you to set it across your entire domain to 4 gigs, because that's just unnecessary. We only need it on this box. But if we, pull this out of the OU or whatever that's hitting, obviously that could have some other consequences. We could change the GPO to not defined, but that wouldn't change the setting on any of your boxes. But if you ever actually cared to automatically set the max security log size,
Yeah.
obviously someone came in here at some point, in theory with a purpose.
Yeah. There's been a lot of hands in this pot, so there's who knows.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the least invasive thing would be to just change the setting to not defined. If you brought up Group Policy Management Console and edited the domain servers GPO,
Okay.
if you're okay with that, that's just.
So okay, all right. So
head.
we're trying to we're gonna edit the group policy for the default domain policy. Is that right?
No, the domain servers GPO. That's
Okay.
affecting that second line, maximum security log size. Yeah.
All right. Let me minimize this.
Group policy management console. Yep. And I'm guessing you have a servers OU somewhere? Domain servers?
Yeah.
Could you expand that out? Domain servers. Edit. Yeah. Policies, Windows. That should be security settings, event log. Yep. And there you go. Maximum security log size. Just uncheck it. Okay. Cool. So you can get out of here. And then on our, is this our file server? Or no, there's the file server.
Yeah, you
If
went back
go
on the file server?
Yep. Dude, just for good measure, if you could bring up GP update /force.
Yeah.
Before we change this. And then we'll probably run it again after we change it just to make sure it holds. That might be overkill, but I'm a trust but verify guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So now you can close this out. The results and policies. No. And then if you right click, yep, properties, and change that to, oh, where is this? It's 419-4304. Apply. That's 4 gigs, as far as I know. Okay. And if you'll run GP update /force again, just for the verify measure. If it changes, then there's another GPO somewhere.
Right.
And we'll be running RSOP again. But if it holds, then unless there's a weird coincidence, then we should be in good shape. Give it a second until the computer configuration finishes. Okay, now it did. I think we're good. Yep, 419-4304, override is needed. Alright, and if you don't mind scrolling all the way down to the bottom of that security log, I'm just curious, we only have 30 megs here, but you had overwritten 6 minutes. So, wonder if that's going to get us there.
And clear it.
Because we greatly, here I'm doing a quick calculation, 4,000 megs divided by 30 megs, that's 133 times 6 minutes. It's 800 minutes. It's not going to give us a full day. So I think it's likely we're going to be dealing with log overrides. You've got a couple of options for dealing with that.
Okay.
And I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be. I think after, if the last 6 minutes have been a good average, which obviously we don't have enough data points, you're going to get overrides in 13 hours. And, off business hours, it should be less.
Just because it's set at the domain level, this auditing policy, is that what you're saying? Too much?
Yeah, you've got a lot of audit policies enabled. If you remember when we looked in there, on this box, and yeah, if you went back into local,
The group policy manager?
no, just the local security policy, we can do it from there. There you go. Yeah, audit policy. So you see, the only thing we need for like file server auditing, for instance, is auditing of object access. And we can even get very specific enabling advanced audit policies and only getting certain kinds of object access that we need. But a lot of this other stuff that you have enabled, which you may not have anything that's actually looking at this data, this is all like the account log on events, that's all creating audit data, possibly unnecessarily. So there's different things we can do. We can try to we can try to change the audit settings, or, and this is if we have a problem with log overrides. We have not yet proven that we're going to have an issue yet. But if we do, we can either change settings somewhere, or we can do archiving of your logs, wherein it'll back up the 4 gig log when it fills up and keep it for a couple of days just to make sure we don't lose anything before it deletes it. Obviously, this is going to need some additional storage. I mean, if you were getting, if this thing really does fill up after 12, 13 hours, then you're going to need like 16 gigs, on this box just for log files. So, that might be, who cares? Or that might be ew. So, it just depends. I don't know how much storage you have available on here. And before we do anything, we should probably wait and make sure that
we'll see
it actually is. Because by default, we're only collecting audit data every 24 hours. That's a third thing we could do is up that. But we're going for just the middle of the night, because again, as we crawl through looking for audit data, we don't want to affect the user experience.
Right.
So that's all to do for now here in group policy land. One other step, and I'm going a little backwards. If you go to services,
do I need to do anything on the shared file, or it's actually?
We will.
Okay.
That'll be the last thing. Or I guess let's do that now. I guess. Right-click IT properties, security, advanced, auditing tab, edit, and you're gonna have to do this on any file share you want auditing. Just so you know, and this is all in the install guide as well. I think it's 4.1.2 is the file server auditing section.
All right.
I'm sorry. 4.2 something, I think. I'd search for what the 4 gig number was, so I lost my place. So, where is this? It's 4.5. I'm sorry. It's file server auditing. So hit add, and everyone. This isn't changing security access. This is just the audit setting.
Yes, it's on. Yeah.
Okay. And now the question here, and with all of your file shares, whereas with Active Directory, we don't need to be very careful for what's being audited, just because there's just not that much stir. For file servers, it can generate quite a bit of audit data if you're looking for successful reads, like who accessed what. Because this is creating audit events just when people browse through folders, open files, whether they change anything or not. If you're only looking to audit changes to file servers, that's very precise, doesn't generate tons of audit data, because it's only creating events when somebody modifies a file and saves it. or if they create a new file or delete something or move, accidentally drag a folder into another folder and, oh, my file's disappeared. So you can keep track of all that kind of stuff. So oftentimes I'll recommend people create, if you do have directories that you need to, are you looking at the guide? So you know what to check?
Yeah.
We will need some of these checked. You can leave those. But if you do have some sensitive directories, you want to make sure only certain people are accessing, but you don't need to audit that across your entire file server, then you just create a separate managed object for one for the sensitive directories where you are looking at successful reads, and one for everything else where you're just looking at changes.
Yeah.
And that way you're generating less audit data, less storage requirements for what might be completely superfluous data. So thoughts on any of that? Like even for our test share, do you want to audit everything?
Yeah, it's just three. It's just the three of us. I just want to see what it looks like,
Okay.
And we don't even
go
hit
ahead
this
and-
range.
I gotcha. Scroll back up in that auditing entry. Check the full control for failed as well. And then for both successful and failed, uncheck full control at the top. Yep. And on the failed, uncheck it. The next line down, traverse folder, uncheck both of those. Skip one, and then uncheck both the read attributes and read extended attributes. Yep. And then scroll down on just scroll down a little bit. And the read permissions, uncheck both of those. And I think that's everything we need. Let me make sure. You already did okay. And we do want to apply onto this folder, subfolders, and files. And if you hit edit on there one more time, and that check box was unchecked. So good. Alright, you can hit cancel.
Leave it unchecked.
We do want that. Correct. So then hit OK, and it should reach out to every file in that directory, but thankfully there weren't many files, and you have a decently fast file server, it looks like. So, good. Okay, last thing, if you can bring up services.msc on the file server. We just want to make sure the remote registry service is running and set to automatic.
Remote registry?
Yep, there you go. We're good. That normally doesn't need to be edited. I think it's a default service. Just some people disable it, and then we have to have a conversation. So, so you can hit OK, and now if you go back to the auditor box, bring up the console. Oh, exit that. It's a little toolbox icon, I think. Yeah. Alright, so click where it says Managed Object on the left side, two above where you are. Create New Managed Object on the right side, or that works too. We want a computer collection type. Yep, name it like file servers, maybe, or do you think you're going to have separate, what was I going to say, separate managed objects, some for sensitive directories, maybe you just call this the IT file share. You can't rename these. So just for organization purposes, it's easy enough to delete them and recreate them.
Yeah.
But you can't rename them. So that's a good name for now.
All right.
That looks good to me. Uncheck everything except file server, and I will, as another point, for these computer collection type objects, I normally recommend only doing one system at a time. You can hit next there as well. And yes. Just because, and you'll need to hit add here, if you have a problem, it's much easier to figure it out if you only have one system per managed object. For the domain-wide ones, it doesn't matter. I put AD, Group Policy Exchange all together. They're so linked. But like keep file server separate, keep your Windows server separate, keep your event log separate. For this, you want to do Windows file share. If you do Windows server, it's going to grab every public share. And here, oh, that's the capacity. Sorry, you're going to need the whack the server name / IT dollar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Scene. Next. That goes back. So here, that's your email recipients. You want to check all those boxes at the bottom. This reads. Hit the advanced. I just want to make sure there's nothing in there. That network traffic compression, that's going to put an agent, compress the logs first kind of thing. If everything's in one location, you might want to uncheck that because it's not as important. Because network bandwidth is not an issue if everybody's connected with gigabit Ethernet. We don't need large server support, at least not yet. Yep, that's all fine. You know, okay. Next. Finish. Give it a second. Okay. Now you should have another managed object. There it is. Go ahead and hit run. Let it run its initial collection.
Rob and Steven, click around in there.
Sorry, what?
Hey,
Get a
click
file and get in.
in that file share.
Just created a file and deleted it just a second ago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh, you don't want to do the test data yet. It's got to create an initial comparison snapshot.
Oh, okay.
And then we want to do the test data. So go ahead and hit run. And then when it's done, yes, you got ahead of me. We want to modify a file, create a new one. If you create like a new text file or something after this is done, make sure you put at least one character in it. So it's not 0 KB. It's
Yeah.
up on. Because then it's not really a file, it's just a placeholder. But put something in it, save it, and then it'll show up as long as everything's configured right, show up as a file being added. And this may take a couple of minutes to go through here. So you see with our solutions, there is some, there's a few minutes of one-time setup with them, but once it's finished, and now you want to make those test changes. So create a new file. If you can modify, just add a line to something else, change the size of a file. If you've got anything in there that, like an old install file, you can delete. That's useless. Those would all be good tests. But as I was saying, there is some one-time setup, but after that, it's pretty seamless, and it's not like a difficult setup. We pride ourselves that it's not like we have to. You have to use professional services, and somebody's going to be on site at your office for a day or two getting this all set up. Like it's not that difficult.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean, it seemed pretty simple with the other one, and it works well. So.
Yep.
The inactive user one.
Yeah, that one's super simple.
I think it's still working. I haven't touched it in a while.
Oh, the inactive user tracking? It very well may be.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But if you're still getting the emailed reports, it should, which actually, if we were to look at that old server, you might be able to see what your email settings are.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and I have the same thing, but I haven't, come to think about it, I mean, I set that up months ago, and I haven't received an email in a while, so gotta backtrack and figure out what was changed and why I'm not receiving that anymore. And But
It's possible you configured it not to get, well, it might be throwing a bunch of warnings, or maybe you just don't have any inactive users and you have it configured not to send blank reports. I don't know. But, okay, hey, no errors. So we configured it right, it looks like. So if you expand out that managed object on the left side where it says TRS, file server, IT share,
yes,
expand file servers, reports.
all activity.
You can do that. I normally go to like successful modifications.
Okay.
And we're just looking at changes. Yeah, all file server changes. View report. Just see if any of the test changes you made show up. Oh, look at that.
What is this? Okay, look. Oh, I didn't know I read that.
Did you show it to Lee?
No,
It's several people in the same files.
yeah. This video Rob uploaded didn't work, so I was just letting him know.
I told you, you have to use it in Windows Media Viewer.
Yes, I know.
Josh is lame. Nice.
Okay, I can see how that could be useful for us on certain files. Definitely.
It's like HR docs.
Yep, HR, forms that people were changing, you know, that we're trying to track on who did what on it.
Yep. One of the things I already mentioned, like if you ever had a situation somebody dragged a file or folder somewhere else, and they're like, you know, oh, the file's disappeared, I can't find them. This is a lot easier than just trying to search. Of course. Other things like, I mean, I had my organization, somebody deleted the folder where our business license was located, and nobody noticed it for a couple weeks until it needed to be sent out with a contract. I worked for a staffing company, and it was a scramble, you know, need to pull it from backup and try to find out when it was deleted, which backup from, and here, if I'd had something like this in place, I could have proactively gotten in front of it, and it would have been there before anybody noticed it was gone, and I would have known who did it. Nice. I could have, you know, appropriately slapped their wrist and or changed their permissions. So it's nice for those kinds of scenarios.
Can you make it to alert you when you flag a file for like no changes or something like that? Like, I want this file or this folder to always be here. Let me know if it's ever deleted.
We don't have alerts for the file server. The main reason being we don't have those quick, you know, every 10-minute collections like we do in Active Directory. Again, just, I guess, one of the main philosophies behind that was we don't want to affect the user experience. On the file server, you can use, like, one of our other solutions, the Event Log Manager. If you can find the specific Windows event that is created in the security event log and consider the insertion strings for only the name of your file, you could create an alert for that. Our Event Log Manager, that's our catch-all for like non-change events normally, but even for like a file being changed event, basically anything that creates an event in an event log, you can create general reporting and alerts on. So it's not built into it. It's not quite as easy to configure as like the AD alerts that we have, but it can be done, most likely, if you need to alert on particular files. Normally it's often sufficient, like say like the head of accounting wants to review changes made to critical accounting files. For instance, you can just send him a daily report, you know, configure a subscription for him of just the changes in that directory, for instance. We also have, so you're aware, we actually, we've had it pre-release for well over a year, but there's a Auditor 6.5 is coming out, I believe, in 2 weeks. I want to say it's October 15th. It's very soon, if not that exact date. And that is going to have one of the main updates is to our file server auditing, and it's going to change it from pre-release to general availability. Features like what was I saying? Snapshot reports for file server that give you things like you can get a report of who has access to all of the different folders within a file share. Kind of do some proactive file server auditing, if you will. So, just so you know, that update's coming out. It would install right on top of what you have here, and it's going to expand the file server auditing capabilities beyond just the successful changes, successful reads, failed reads. You'll get those snapshot reports in there. So, something to look forward to. If you really wanted to try that out sooner, happy to send you instructions for downloading the update. Go to that pre-release candidate, which is like what I demo with. And we have a lot of customers that use it. It's just with the Auditor 6.5 coming out in 2 weeks, and it's just going to be there. Maybe it's worth waiting.
Okay.
I wonder why it's not liking the authentication.
I'm trying every possible
thing. Do you
thing
have a relay connector, like for your copiers?
I'm looking at.
You could add this IP address to.
Let me look at that.
There is a reason. I don't know if it's configured though, Josh. I remember we were trying to do it for one of the virtual machines. We just stopped and we found another way.
Well, I mean, we don't. Like on these copiers, I never went in and added the IP addresses of all the copiers. It just needs an authenticated email address on this domain, and I took the settings right out of the copier, and they don't even use the SSL. So I don't know. I have to keep playing with this. I've tried by IP. We'll figure it out though.
Yeah, it's weird. I have to look at like your Exchange Management Console to offer an opinion, though you may know it much better than me. But yeah, no, I know. I just did the relay connector, which is I just googled the directions. It's not difficult to do that, and it sounds like you already have one.
Yeah.
And you just have to add
it. Okay. All right. Well, I'll get this, and then we'll. I'm gonna take this up to management and see if there's any shares that they want us to look at, and then see if we can, with all the information that we're getting, if this is something we want to. First, we gotta see what the price is, which John said he already has a quote ready, right? So.
Yes, I believe it.
Yes, that's correct. But did you want to see the all-in-one with the password management tool in there, or do you just want to see the not with the password tool?
Well, we currently have something that manages the passwords, and Rob, do you know if that's even working? When I say that we don't know, it's bad. It sounds like that, but it's coming from our parent company, and I've never seen it work. But does it?
Yeah, I've never mind.
So.
Sounds like you guys have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah. So I would like to see that with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're
especially if this is all
users or
do what? Sorry, you cut out.
Yep, that's my fault. Are we still doing the 550
Yes.
enabled users?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So then I'll just send that quote to you, and then I guess Joshua will be a good time to follow back up with you.
I say the first part next week, Monday. Sorry.
Okay. All right, that's fine. And what I'm going to send you is the MSRP pricing. I don't know what your guys' budget is, but I just want to send you the list price, and then we can go from there and work on it if need be. Just want to kind of let you guys know.
Okay. Just be prepared, right, when we see the figures?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just because you're looking at the all-in-one, we're always going to be able to work with you guys. We want to make it affordable for you. Do you know what's budgeted for you guys? I mean, is this going to happen this year, you think? Or?
Yeah, I do know that we actually are budgeting for. We have budgeted some. I wouldn't call it auditing, but for software for management this year, and then we're working on the budget for next year as well. So I don't recall what we named it, but there is some funds available for that this year.
For this year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, I'll get that together, and then I'll follow back up with you next Tuesday. But if you have any other questions during the, between now and then, feel free to reach out to Adam or myself. Do you guys have any other questions at this time?
I don't. Do you guys?
No question. No, I'm good.
Okay. Adam, do you have anything else on your end?
No. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to stick with me, guys.
Yeah.
Up with me talking for like almost 2 hours.
That was good. We got some good
Appreciate it.
information. Yeah, thanks for taking time to show us.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, and Josh, we'll talk soon.
All right. Talk later. Bye.
All right, bye.
Right.